فهذا الحوار صار جيل الوحدة.
كيف نحمي الشباب؟
الثقافة يجب أن يكون له دور
بالمهارات.
هذا شاب يبي يعني يروي نفسه، يبي عنده عطش من داخل.
فليش دائما نستورد الفكر الخارجي؟
أعزائي المشاهدين، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أسعد الله أوقاتكم بكل خير. هذه قناة البابطين الثقافية كالعادة تلوح لكم بالمحبة، وضيفنا اليوم شخصية سياسية وفكرية مؤثرة جدا في العالم، لعب دورا كبيرا في عمليات السلام حول العالم. نرحب معا بالسيد تيري رود لارسون. مرحبا بك سيد لارسون.
Thank you. It's very good to be with you. It's a pleasure and an honor.
نلتقي اليوم مع السيد تيري لورد لارسون، ولكن بعد أن نطلعكم على سيرته الذاتية في هذا الفاصل. أعزائي المشاهدين، مرحبا بكم مرة أخرى، وقد اطلعنا على السيرة الذاتية التي فيها زخم كبير للسيد تيري رود لارسون، ونتوجه إليه الآن بالحوار. سيد لارسون، ما سبب زيارتكم إلى دولة الكويت؟
First and foremost, I've had in my different capacities a very long-standing relationship to Kuwait, and I'm always fond of coming back here. But there is a particular reason this time, and that is that I'm visiting your foundation in order to see if we can work together with the foundation for the purpose of peace, focusing particularly on the relationship between peace and culture. So I'm looking forward to continue my conversations later today with the leadership of the foundation. I've also met the Minister for Information to discuss similar issues with him.
سيد لارسون، ننتقل إلى محور آخر. هل الصراعات الدائرة اليوم في العالم هي صراعات ثقافية فعلا؟ هي صراع ثقافات، صراع حضارات، أم هي صراعات مصالح؟
I would say that we live in times which are very different from nearly all previous times in history. And the first reason is that we have a demographic revolution on many fronts. One of them is that now more people for the first time in history are living in cities and not in rural areas. And the proportion is increasing and increasing, which creates a new social dynamic. And then it's also so that in many countries in the world, and particularly in this part of the world, the proportion of people who are very young is much higher than it has ever been in history. Then this demographic revolution, mega trend, is paired with a second trend which is unique in history, namely that technological innovation goes faster now than ever in history. So technology and society is changing with a rapidity, with a pace which is unparalleled in world history. And this creates a completely new environment for human beings. And the third trend is that inequalities in the world are also increasing, which creates social tensions. So paired with the demographics, paired with the technological revolutions, and most of us now are carrying one of them in our pocket every day, namely our cell phones, which can do so many things. As it's changed fundamentally the way people communicate with each other, from politics to love. So we live in unique times. Then to the question about cultures. So I would say that all these developments which I describe now, they are crisscrossing cultures. They're not specific to any culture. It crisscrosses cultures. So cultures is not the root cause of many of the conflicts which we are seeing around the world. They are conflicts which in many ways are not only generated by the phenomena which I talk about, but are also driven forward by them. Of course, conflict in the world are based predominantly on two phenomena. One is scarcity, that we are competing for resources, and sometimes this leads to quarrels and sometimes to violent confrontations over scarce resources. And the second source of conflicts in the world is that we have different perceptions of the same phenomena. And here we see ideologies as a kind of glasses for looking at the same phenomena, but some of the glasses are green, some are yellow, so it looks different even if it's the same phenomenon. So then you see this starkest today in violent extremism in this region, for instance, through ISIS, who has completely different views of society than most of us others had. In the last century, we saw exactly the same in Europe in the fight between fascism, Nazism, communism, and liberalism. So in a way, the ideologies are back, and ideologies are frames of reference which we look at the world from, and this also generates conflicts. This was a long answer to a short question.
مستر لارسون، هل تعتقدون أن العالم اليوم أو الناس في العالم يدفعون ثمن أحداث جرت في التاريخ؟
History is very important, and in a way we carry history with us, not only through the phenomena outside us, as I spoke about the composition of the populations of this world, the new technologies, etc., but also, and I'm going back to my previous answer, history is also a part of the way we are looking upon the world, because what we each as individuals, the eyes which we are looking upon the world, is constituted by our history as individuals. Both what we have experienced, but also what we've read in school, what we learn from television, what we learn from all the new gadgets, the tablets, the iPhones, etc. So in a way, history is with us in this double function, and you cannot put a bracket on it. What is important with history is to learn from the mistakes of the past, not to do them once again.
سيد لارسون، على من يقع يعني عبء سوء الفهم والتقصير بين العرب والغرب؟ من الذي لا يفهم الآخر؟ العرب أم الغرب أم كلاهما؟
Of course it exists, and it's the fault of both parties, because it takes two to tango, and unless it's not only enough for one of the parties to have the views and the perceptions and the skills, the other party also needs it. So the fault is on both sides.
خلال عمليات السلام التي شاركتم بها، هل كان للثقافة الدور الكبير في هذه العمليات السلمية بين الشعوب، أم أن كان القرار للسياسة فقط؟
No, most of the conflicts which I've been involved in as a UN envoy and as a diplomat have been driven by interests. But you cannot resolve conflicts between parties of different cultures without understanding their culture, understanding their perceptions and why they perceive things the way they are doing. So in the toolbox of a negotiator, culture is a necessary tool. Has to be there and has to be used.
هل تنظرون إلى الشعوب العربية على أنها مؤهلة اليوم للديمقراطية؟
Democracy is a very difficult word, and you can find democracy in many forms and shapes. And some forms and shapes fit some cultures and others fit other cultures. So in order to discuss what democracy is and what democracy ought to be, you have again to understand the local culture and the local history and adapt the shapes and forms of democracy to that reality.
هل هناك اليوم قطبان حقيقيان فعلا في العالم أم هناك قطب واحد؟ وهل تراجع دور أحد الأقطاب في العالم؟
Now, we live now in a multipolar world with rising powers in the south and in the east. It's no longer so that one superpower is dominating the world. You have now many power centers in the world, and this makes it in a way much more complicated, and particularly since the one superpower, the US, in some ways is perceived to have withdrawn from areas and created a vacuum. Others are filling this vacuum. And this is not necessarily related so much to the reality, but with the way people see it, with the way people perceive it. And if they perceive that there is a withdrawal, other forces will come in and fill that vacuum. And I think, for instance, the phenomenon of ISIS in Iraq and in Syria is an example of this.
سيد لارسون، إلى أين سوف ينتهي هذا الصراع في العالم؟ أين يتجه العالم الآن؟
History is produced by human beings. So I don't think it's so important to predict what is happening. The most important is to influence what is happening. And this is why we all have to stand together for a world of prosperity, equality, reason and culture.
سيد لارسون، أنت شخص مؤثر جدا في العالم ولعبت أدوارا كبيرة، حتى قالوا عنك في الصحف أنك تلعب دورا أكبر من دورك الذي جئت لأجله، ولك كلمة في العالم. من أين تستمد هذه القوة وكيف منحك العالم ثقته؟
To the extent that I have influenced political developments in the region, it actually springs out in my last answer, namely that I do not believe that you should stand passively and watch bad things happening and floating in the wrong direction, that it is every single human being's duty to try to influence things to move in a positive direction. And this has been the driving force amongst what I've been trying to do in this part of the world, which I more or less incidentally personally were brought to. So I've been working, as you know, with the Palestinian-Israeli issue and tried to find compromises which both parties can live with. The same in the relationship between Lebanon and Israel, and also in the relationship between your country, Syria, and Lebanon, leading to first the ending of the Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon, and then leading to Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria's military withdrawal, 45,000 troops and intelligence services from Lebanese soil. And these were good developments, and I feel honored and proud to have been part of moving history in that direction.
سيد لارسون، نحن سعداء جدا بك، ومن قناة الباطن الثقافية نقدم لك جزيل الشكر على هذا الحوار المفيد.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being with you.
Thank you. أعزائي المشاهدين، إلى هنا نأتي إلى ختام هذه الحلقة المهمة جدا مع السيد تيري روزلارس، شخصية كبيرة مؤثرة سياسيا وفكريا في العالم. أستودعكم الله وإلى اللقاء.